pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Moore.
Present.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Present.
Councilman Iacili.
Present.
Councilman Pell.
Present.
Councilman Stieglin.
Present.
Welcome to our Hampton Bays Water District Commissioners Meeting, February 8th, 2024. We have some representatives here with us today to speak with us. James Cappers, Water District Superintendent, and John Collins and Chris Weber from H2F. Would you like to come up to the table and sit with us?
Confirm.
Do you have the agenda?
No.
Or would you like a copy?
It's three things.
Yeah, sorry, figured the first time we were kind of meeting as a group, introduce ourselves, and we kind of met each other at the public hearing. Kind of awkward time to talk about the water district, but this is the time to really dwell into what we do and why we do and how we do. So I'll start, I believe, as the introduction. So this is going to pumpage. This is basically our bread and butter. What we do, we pump water. We provide it to the customers. Each year, we're seeing about a 2% increase in our water usage overall. Our demand during the summertime is where we're seeing that increase, being the popularity of irrigation systems along, in Hampton Bays, and some of the development that's happening too as well. Just to give you a number in gallons, in 2022 was 1,123,673,081. And in 2023, we were 1,530,862,683. So we see that 2% increase there overall.
How many years in a row has that been going on?
The increase is steady. From 2016, I think I look back, it's been
15 or 16, 14,
Yeah.
that far back.
So we can do some pretty accurate projection models.
Yeah, it's been 1 to 2% each year. COVID obviously was, I think, in the 3 to 4, but that was due to the fact that, residents being home, it wasn't much transient houses anymore. People were taking care of their properties at home more, working from home, so it did drop from that number and now is back on that streamline of the 2%. So we can project that probably from throughout.
And do you let people hook up if they're using it for geothermal?
We don't have geothermal in Hampton Bays, I don't believe, on public water supply. I know some of the bigger houses in like the Red Creek area, which have wells, they're private wells, have geothermals. I haven't seen any plans come across my desk or for that, but I know there's special hookups and stuff that they need to do and go through and Board of Health approval plans and so forth for that to happen. But
They're big water users.
yeah, I know
Personally.
Southampton Village and stuff has a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't think they let them hook up anymore.
Right. Yeah, because
They
they.
have to put a loop system in.
Yeah. Hampton Bays, I don't believe has it on the the public water supply.
It does, they
You can
don't.
look into the future.
Yeah,
But
geothermal.
it's not a lot. Let them hook up.
Yeah. Yeah, we did, every year, this is speaking on, big water users, we compute our top 10 residential and top 10 commercial users. We send them a letter notifying them if they're not aware of their usage. The letter states basically if they want us to come do a site visit to see where the water's going, if they don't know, make sure they don't have a leak, make sure their sprinkler system is operating where we suggest it should be, It's hard for us to tell them what to do because we can't enforce it at this moment. But we also send out a water conservation letter that states, during the summer months, please abide by the odd, even watering days and try to water not through the middle of the night, the 2 to 6 a.m., because that's where we see our biggest usage. About 75% of our 24-hour usage in the summer is done within 4 hours. That's
What are those hours, did you say?
about between 2 and 6 a.m. So it's, 4 hours. Our, water supply tanks are depleted, and we go from running one well during the winter just over 1 million gallons a day in a 24-hour period to we reached 10 million gallons last year a day in a 24-hour period. So we can see the big increase between July and August. That's where the numbers really, really jump.
That was a peak day, was
Peak
10
day,
million.
10 million in 24-hour period.
Biggest day ever.
Yeah, that's our record day.
Right.
And we can only, equate that to a dry summer, people taking care of their landscaping and the popularity of private sprinkler systems in residents. We try to sway commercial properties that are putting commercial buildings up. If they want to irrigate, to put a private well in. There's really no mandate to that. Our engineers can write the letter stating that, but if they go ahead and get Board of Health approvals to do it on public water, they use public water. But we're doing all we can without enforcing it with notifications and consumer letters as much as possible.
Did you mention last time that there was a staggered pricing for?
Yeah, it's a
for the
tiered
users?
pricing, yeah. We implemented, I believe, that back in 2018 to try to sway water conservation. The first tier is, very minimum. What we see most of our residents for basic usage in a household. So, that's your typical $41 bill that you get every 3 months. And then there's a second tier, and then there's a third tier. So we do get the calls and people asking why my bill's so high. It's never been this high, and then come to find out they're watering every day, sometimes twice a day. And I even go there personally to adjust their sprinkler clocks for them to try to help us out and help them out, because then the neighbors are calling they can't take a shower in the morning because their sprinklers are running during those times. So it's been a battle. It's every water supplier on the island, and I think even across the country, battling the water supply during those hours in the summertime. So we're doing all we can without having that enforcement or the code behind us to fine and so forth. So
Suffolk County Water Authority provide incentives such as giving folks water sensors to limit when they're using their systems and only use it when it's appropriate. And they save money that way, and also we're conserving water. Are we doing anything as a town with respect to the water district?
I approached the last board and the comptroller's office last year about this, because a couple of customers have reached out about putting rain sensors on their irrigation system, so when it is raining, you're not wasting the water.
Right.
I think that was one thing that I wanted to bring up today, to move forward with that, whether it has to be, adopted by the town board,
Yeah.
to offer an incentive, whatever that may be agreed upon through the comptroller's office and the board, to offer a one-time credit to a customer if they purchase it from a certain, supplier, or have it installed by, whatever the stipulations may be. But I think it's a good incentive,
Is that how it works in the county?
The water
Well, I mean,
authority,
water
they, send letters out to constituents letting them know that these incentives exist, and they can apply for them, and they get a rebate to get one. And, the water authority, swears by it's sort of the productive use of water, and especially in a time where we do see an increase in usage. So I think it would be prudent for us as a town board to think about a way we can work with our water district and
Yeah.
provide something similar.
The rebate would be the cost of the device.
Yes, and I wonder too, would it make sense to maybe work with the county on some sort of IMA, or the county water authority to create some sort of IMA, sort of shared services agreements, so to speak, to enable that kind of incentivization? I don't know if that would work, something to think about, but it's up to the town board.
We could probably model any program that we do as commissioners to what, what's the water authority does. I wonder, and I don't know if you have this, answer. How would we assure that people are actually using it,
Right,
right?
that's the
You
thing.
want,
That's
one
the
thing's
one thing,
purchasing
yeah.
it, you want it installed and in place and, not
Yeah, you have to have proof of
functioning,
installation.
so they're not
almost.
watering while it's raining.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Because they go on Amazon, spend $80, and then they get a $300 check in the mail.
Is there a way that we could determine, the water district
We
can
just need proof
determine
of
this?
installation. I mean, it would have to have some sort of proof of installation
Uh-huh.
and operation.
But every irrigation system has a bypass switch
Exactly.
to bypass the rain
Oh.
sensor.
Yeah.
It's hard. It doesn't say. It's very
Yeah.
hard to.
And I just, if you're charging
I was a
people have
plumber.
$41 water bills and then they're paying, $80 to install a rain sensor in somebody's irrigate, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna come out of their bills in a
Yeah.
way because they're gonna have to cover the cost.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think your incentive is, I think your bigger incentive to conserving water is the tiered pricing. And maybe look at increasing that over, what
We
I
did
mean?
increase the upper tiers this year, just to try. We're not trying to
By how
kill our
mu-
customers, but we're trying.
How much
to.
did you increase it?
10%. Yeah, we didn't increase prices last year. This year we did a 10% increase.
I like the
maybe
incentive
adding
a
idea.
fourth
tier.
I think the customers would want to have such a sensor on their systems because, watering your lawn in the rain is not good for the lawn and, they want green, healthy lawns.
Right.
So, Mike, I think, this is definitely, something that we should pursue.
So
I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen rain sensors installed under gutters. I've seen, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like,
so there is an inherent issue with rain sensors is that it's telling you not to water your lawn in the rain, which is great. But when it's sunny out and it's not raining, everybody is still going on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it helps you on that rainy day when quite honestly, he has a full tank.
mhm.
And he can sell that water. But on that hot, dry July Thursday, I'm sorry, nobody waters on Thursday because.
Everybody
landscapers
Every
landscaper's
yeah.
come and cut the lawn.
On that hot, dry Friday, everybody's watering and the rain sensors don't do anything to conserve the water when you need it.
Yeah.
So there is a combination of stuff it can't be just a rain sensor, it has to be a smart controller
Right.
that's programmed to time, has a soil sensor, they have units now that coordinate with
The weather.
the
Yeah,
weather
there's
service.
Weather apps, yeah. And
I've also seen it where there's rebates given similar to what, and I don't know what they're called anymore, LIPA, Keyspan, NetGrid, whoever it is, that if you get an energy efficient washer, there's a rebate. And I've seen, and I don't know if the water authority does it, but somebody does it, maybe New York City, that if you get a water efficient washing machine or dishwasher or
So maybe
Right.
it's just more prudent to start with putting a notice out to customers, the rebates that are available from the county and the state for other water saving things like washing machines and,
yeah.
I think education's the first thing.
yeah.
You have the, where's about on your system where you can, where the houses are using high volume pops up?
Not now. Our
Not yet.
new system that's coming into play now is called Univeris, our billing system. We're going away from the town-wide governance system. We're going to a more sophisticated billing system that has better parameters that we'll be able to watch more closely. The biggest thing is that we do quarterly billing, so it's every 3 months. So it's hard for it to pop up, instantaneously, like this house
Yeah.
today used, 30,000 cubic feet wide, So, but it will flag counts more aggressively once that billing is due.
That might what you really want to do. That way you can either send the people who are the high volume a letter say you're using too much.
Yeah, that's what we do annually. We send
Yeah.
we send a letter to the resident or the commercial owner, letting them know you are our top 10 out of 7,000 customers. You were.
I know I have a friend who lives in Sand Point. When he uses too much water, he gets an
Alert.
alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the water district up there.
Yeah, we can eventually maybe move to a monthly billing. That'd be a bigger board and comptroller's decision, where we can more regulate the usage month by month instead of every 3 months. where we can
Sounds
catch
like
it.
something on the meter that's centrally.
Yeah,
I think with Univeris, you can do an internal monthly audit, can you?
yeah.
Or a quarterly audit.
Yeah, we just need to read from the meter, but once we go to fully remote, because right now we are not fully
Yeah,
remote.
because I forget exactly what happens, but he gets warned and then he gets a fine or something. By using too much water.
Yeah,
So James, at $1.5 billion, are we meeting the needs of the customers currently?
At the minimum standard, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
You know, we do have our low water volume areas that we're addressing. East side of the canal was one of the biggest ones, biggest complainers for a while. You know, even before I was even involved. But we did do the directional drill underneath the canal. That helped out tremendously with providing more volume to that side of town. Our higher elevations, because that's probably one of the higher elevations of the town, a lot of the bigger houses up on the hills still see that low volume of water in the mornings, early mornings during the summertime, but it has such improved since putting that connection in.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
That was a significant
Yeah.
problem in the district, and
Yeah.
and it's been addressed. So the pressure is probably still the same, but the volume is much
Yeah.
greater, right?
Pressure increased slightly, but the volume is what really we're looking at,
I think
pushing that water.
the most important thing is you have fire flow over there now.
Yes.
So back a few years ago, on a July's morning, you'd be struggling to fight a fire. I think now you have the ability to fight a fire.
Thus the interconnects from the Southampton, or the Tuckahoe side.
Just
from
with the
Suffolk County.
drill that we did into Mashut Beach.
Right.
Yeah, with that drill in, yeah, it increased to double the volume of water across the canal, so.
Is that new well we're putting in going to increase the volume too? Or the
Yeah, in the
pressure?
position where we're looking at that property on, between Channing Cross and Washington Heights, where we have the water main connection that runs between both roads with the easement, that will be run out to Newtown Road, which will be direct feed to that, that connection. So that will definitely help out that side of the canal even more, and also put less stress on our wells that are further away to try to get that water to that side of town, because our closest one is Old Riverhead Road, and from Old Riverhead Road to the east side of the canal is pretty, you know, far away. So all that friction loss now from those wells won't be as much if we had that one supply well helping supply that side.
How large is the tank on Old Riverhead Road?
250,000.
Okay, it's the smallest one in the district.
We have two 250s. The one at the main plant's 250, and then our 1 million gallon at plant 4. Just in a nutshell with the pumpage, like the supervisor brought up, we're looking to put that additional well in. We did get approved for the bond for the test boring. We're just waiting, I guess, between the town board and the,
I think we're in that period between the town board approving it and the bond being viable.
viable. And then we just gotta get the okay to access that property. I guess from the town attorneys, they're working and looking at that property, make sure we were able to access that property and do the test boring there to see if the water is viable enough for us to move forward with presenting a well field at this property.
So you have in front of you the 10-year capital improvement plan, which was established in 2018, I believe. Maybe we passed it in 2019.
2020 it was adopted.
Adopted.
But
Okay,
we-
so
we
we
built
worked
it
on
for
it.
2 years.
Yeah. Considerable amount of work. So
Yeah.
we are now in our 4th year of the 10-year capital improvement plan. It would seem to me that we would need to, one, update the plan, because there are other initiatives that we've been doing that are not in there, and many of the projects that were identified in there to bring this district up to speed, if you will,
Mhm.
from 2019, have been completed. Now, our next meeting is on May 9th. What, commissioners, board, what do you think about having this meeting in Hampton Bays with an update of the capital improvement plan, so the community knows, you know, where we went from, where we started when we were actually considering the Suffolk County Water Authority, heard loud and clear from the community that they didn't want that. We're good with that as well. And what the district has been doing to improve the water supply. I think it would be really beneficial for the community.
I think that's
What
a
do you all
great
think of
idea.
that?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they would like that, and we could do it either at the
Senior center.
senior center, or if we thought it was too big of a crowd, maybe
Janet's.
this could have
Janet's
another
on.
location.
you're gonna have it at 10:30 in the morning, we can't do it because the senior center has their program.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it in that was my next point, was we could do it in the evening so that folks can come out. And they might want to ask questions, and it's a good opportunity to talk about water flow and, 1.5 billion gallons and, water sensors and all that. So,
I'll be great happy.
Oh, yeah,
well, it's not for it's for the community.
Of course.
of course.
We just have to do a little more. Right now, we don't currently have the ability to,
Record.
We're working towards that end.
We are.
But it's gonna take us just a little time.
okay.
Perhaps some meetings in the works.
Okay, so,
Because I
but,
think there have been town board meetings at off-site locations before.
Yes, they have, but
Mhm.
unfortunately, they're not live streamed. We're not set up for that, so it takes a
We also
while,
don't
I
have
believe,
Zoom.
to upload them so they can be watched on, at a future date.
Mm.
And we
would
also
we
have to have Zoom.
satisfy the state requirements for open meetings law?
Yes.
I believe we would, right? Like, if we had this in the community and we're either able or unable, I'm pointing at the
We
screen.
would have to
Yeah,
have
no,
Zoom.
We've had
I
several,
checked.
several
Yeah.
meetings
We have to have-
outside of the building.
Because
It's
it's all,
just
because the
unfortunately
state law
sometimes
was
it
all
could-
or
it
nothing.
could be
Either
a
every
week
meeting
until
has
they're
it or none
actually
of the meetings have
Up and
it.
available for people to.
Really?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right,
oh, yeah.
and I like that. And we also want to have it in,
Ah.
I'd like to have it in the community. I was
Yeah,
wondering
that
what
makes
the board
sense.
thought.
And we're
Okay.
working to try and get that type of equipment in place for you for the future as well.
Thank you. All right, so we can plan that on May 9th at 6 o'clock. And we'll see, the technology's up to speed by then.
H1 will work on the update.
Oh,
in the
maybe.
meantime.
Possibility.
Yeah,
Do-
May 9th.
Do people in
We
the
have time.
community that have concerns about service call you? I mean, who's the contact point?
They contact the office usually if they have any sort of issue or need questions, and then they give them to me right away. My cell phone is posted on the website, so they call me directly if they have any problems. And myself or one of our technicians respond to their house, and we take care of it. Like I said, 99.9% of the time, any problems or questions are internal. Some people don't even know what they have in their basement. They don't even know they have a sprinkler system. So we're more than happy to oblige them with the approval of them to come into the house, walk the property, go and show them what this is your water valve. This is a hot water heater.
This is your main shut-off.
Yeah, so, not a lot of people are privy or to that information, not even knowing the house is built and that's it. We do have, some of the older members of the community call and they want, need help, and we're there to help them, no questions asked. Especially now, by October, we have to have a full inventory of our service lines, both what we supply the water meter and then from the water meter to the house. It's the lead service line inventory. So we sent out excuse me, a mailer for them to identify it. They simply click a picture, do a little test if it's copper, plastic, lead, galvanized, so forth, and then they hit submit and it goes into a GIS of what that service line is. And a lot of customers are, not technology privy. They don't know how to do it. They just call up and say, "Can I just tell you?" And say, "Unfortunately, no." So we go out, personally and take care of that for them too. So
Nice.
yeah.
Do you find a lot of, or some lead service lines?
Haven't found one yet.
Okay.
And
It's generally galvanized, right?
galvanized is the oldest that we found, but since then they've been taken
Okay.
out and put in poly or copper.
A lot of old houses there.
A lot of old houses, but a
Yeah.
lot of the plumbing has been updated
Good.
from the 80s on.
Yeah.
Would be in the Foster Avenue area.
Yeah, oldest part of the district.
Right.
But we haven't found any. Luckily, there is no lead problems. Finding these service lines. So hopefully by the end of the year we'll know for sure to confirm that. But even talking to some of the older members of the water district that were there, they don't even remember doing it back in like the 60s and 70s. It's all copper and plastic.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
it's good for us. It's good for the customers. 'Cause you don't have to worry about that lead poisoning and that pipe breaking down and so forth.
So did you want to tell us anything now about the 2024 schedule?
Yeah, I'll let H2M, since they're the lead on all of our projects, and I can start from the beginning and take you through it.
Do
Thank
you
you,
want to
Jim.
give an update on the drills?
Drills? Okay, yeah, I can go through the drills. All right, so
Just,
tying it from last year.
just
Yeah.
give a real quick update,
I got you.
because we
I
have
got you.
people
I
who
got
might
you.
not be familiar with the project.
Tying in from last year, so as James mentioned, we did directional drill across the canal. As part of that, we also did a directional drill across the bay, right next to Ponquag Bridge. That was awarded a grant, which we actually just requested final disbursement of those funds for. That project's complete, as James mentioned. You know, we've seen an uptick in pressure across the canal, so that worked out exactly as planned. And then, in addition to that, we were doing a plan for iron treatment project. Again, that is completed. And as part of that project, so plan number 4, they had elevated levels of iron. We installed 2 new iron vessels over at that site. I know James had complaints of brown water in the past. Since we've installed that, those complaints have been pretty much eliminated, right?
Yeah.
So-
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
And you're still flushing at the higher rate from 2018?
Twice a year.
Twice a
Yeah,
year.
the whole system gets flushed in April and then usually in October.
Okay.
Twice a year.
If you have any questions on, obviously, I know they're brand new projects to some of you guys, so if there's anything you have questions on, feel free to ask, obviously.
For the public's
Mhm.
edification
Yeah.
here, brown water, manganese and iron.
Iron, yes.
Iron.
Black
This-
water is manganese.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Brown.
these are naturally occurring elements, but you
Naturally
don't
occurring
want them
elements, correct, yes.
Mhm.
highly elevated?
Right.
Okay.
As far as ongoing projects, we have 2. We have 1 Rampasture Road water main. So if you ever looked at the district, Rampasture Peninsula it's kind of like an appendix to Hampton Bays, where all the old iron problems, everything would settle down there. Pipes would get tuberculated, so we are running a upgrade of about 3,000 feet of water main to increase flow down there, increase residual pressures and fire flows. That's currently ready to, I think we're gonna send it over to John this
For
week.
bid, yes.
This week for bid. That's something we're gonna try to get going this spring, so for this summer, they realize the effects. There's also a small portion on East Hannah Road, and that's all about bringing volume down to the Rampasture Peninsula, so.
Do we know if residents are being affected because of that?
They will be affected
Currently?
in the sense that traffic's gonna be a little gnarly. And then when we finally do their service transfer, they'll be out of water for, periods of time, hour here, 2 hours there.
Okay.
But we usually give them 48 hours notice when we're gonna shut off their wet water. And there's really nothing you can do about the traffic, but from past community meetings, they're gonna be really happy that we're running water main down
Sure.
that road.
Yeah.
The installation is, that the pipe is gonna go in, and then the connections are going to be made, so the water outage is gonna be minimal. It's not gonna be the whole
Yeah,
project.
we put the new water main in with hydrants, leaving the old main with hydrants active, because that has the services. We fully test it, hydrostatic pressure, we do bacteria testing on it, and when that's good, we then transfer the water services to the new main, and then go back and abandon the old main by taking out the old antiquated hydrants, doing our final connections to mains, and in essence, we have the brand-new main, new hydrants, everybody's connected to the new main, and the old water main that's tuberculated gets abandoned in place. It's,
Tuberculated, that's the closing off of the inside of
Yes,
the
sir.
pipe,
Mhm.
like the vocabulary.
Yeah, like if you ever seen a galvanized
No, I know
service
what
in
it
a
is.
house and a plumb, it goes from that to a pencil, and that's when people complain that they don't have water. Other than that, I think we're gonna kick off, we haven't done anything with Plant 3 yet. I think maybe second quarter we'll start our preliminary design and figure out siting the building, siting the filters, and then getting all our, call it ducks in a row to begin the design, and then with the intent to purchase filters by the end of the year, right?
Yes. The lead time on them are usually, right now, I think about a year out, just to obtain the filters, so we can order them sooner than later to have them on site, so when we're ready to turn over and construction, we have pretty much everything we need, so the turnaround will be quickly, and we hope that, it looks like we'll be able to operate that well field without the filters, and it'll be a smooth transition. The well field won't be down, maybe minimal, just until everything gets approved, and then we can switch it over. But the way our numbers are looking, we should be able to run through, our peak demands using the well field, staying below the new MCLs that the EPA is going to impose probably any day now on the fluorinated compounds, the 28 additional, plus the 2 including PFOA and PFOS, and lithium too, I guess they're coming out with now too.
So lithium's part of
UCM R5, yeah.
I don't know if there's been a lot of fines on lithium, but not on Long Island at least.
Yeah, the government's looking at lithium for a contaminant in water now, so we don't have any detections of that in our wells, so we're lucky there. But when the government does something, it's usually nationwide, so that's why we're starting here.
Federal government.
Yep. EPA.
State, yeah.
EPA.
EPA.
How is the upgrade going, or I believe it's finished, on the 1 million gallon tank?
Yeah, it's been completed
That's-
we're on our 2nd year now of being fully complete, inspections, everything working great.
Okay.
I would just like to add, before we conclude, that, if we could also follow up on, looking at smart controllers or rain sensors as a follow-up to on May 9th, even if we look into what, Cindy is saying with respect to existing state and county rebates or incentives, or even manufacturer incentives as well, if perhaps, we can put together some sort of sheet that can be helpful to residents so they have that information on hand. We want to try to also get that out there, so if we
Sure.
can talk about that too, as a follow-up.
Just
And
to add to the project.
our office can,
Could blast it out.
and also help you put that information together if you
Yeah,
want.
of course. Just to add to the projects, when we talked at the public hearing, one of the things was our granulated activated carbon system at Plant 1 on Ponquag. We're at the end of life with the current internal carbon, which is 80,000 pounds of carbon that treat for these perfluorinated compounds that the EPA is regulating, which goes EPA, state, and local Suffolk County that enforces it. We got the bid results yesterday, actually, to have that carbon extracted from the vessels, brought to a facility, reactivated, which is done through high heat. They burn it off. They package the carbon up. I think they add about 10% of virgin carbon. They come back, they reinstall, they do startup, and our projections are to be completed by the month of May, which is usually when we turn that field on, because that field is seasonal. We don't run it all year round. One being the chlorides in the water in that area are elevated. They're a little less than half of the MCL. But we fear that if we run that field seasonal all the time, we would run into an issue. And if we ran into an issue there with that, then we would have to be forced to shut the field down. So that's why that field is strictly seasonal. And then secondly, because of the fluorinators that are found, we don't want to saturate that carbon when not needed, because we have our other supply wells that don't have issues that can run and supply the system now, which is only one or two wells during the winter time that are running.
And currently, that filter is winterized.
Yes, it's winterized, shut down.
Is that something you do in-house?
We have, Caledon comes out, and they come and help us winterize it. But we usually do the startup process
Fair
ourselves.
enough. Good.
So we're gonna hopefully move forward with that within the next week or so, and hopefully award and get that job underway, so we're ready to go for the summertime.
Good, very good. I noticed that there were 3 resolutions on the proposed agenda that had to do with the water district, and I didn't know if they were new contracts. Maybe you could just
Yeah, sure.
tell you what they are. The one is with electronic systems for monthly monitoring of the alarm systems. Is that a new
That's
contract?
we've had them for at least 15 years now. This is a yearly contract that's renewed.
Just a renewal.
Yeah.
And then one for like 1-year contract with Hotch for maintenance, parts and labor.
Yeah, we started that, I think back in 2016. Hawk, just to give you a brief, Hawk is all our instruments within the building, our pH monitors, which monitor the pH coming, going out the system, monitor our chlorine residual going to system, and we also have a nitrax monitor, which monitors nitrates within our GAC. So they come out and service all them every year. And basically zero them out so that they're ready to go before the pumping season. So we do that yearly. It's not a newer contract. It's just something we renew every year.
Oh, okay, and the last one was about the tank washing.
Yeah, every so often, if you drive by the tanks now, you'll get the mildew look on the outside of the tanks. This is from the moisture of the tanks always having water in them. So washing them protects the outer coating of the tanks and prolongs the lifespan of the exterior paint, and it also looks aesthetically pleasing to the public to have a nice clean wash tank.
How often does that have to happen?
It's like every 3 to 5 years we do it.
Appreciate the preventative maintenance. Mildew holds moisture, and on the weld seams, that's where the rough spots will
Yeah.
occur, and they can be quite expensive if left unattended to.
Yes.
So each time we need this, we go out to bid.
Yeah. There's always one company that usually always wins, which is National Wash Authority. They're always, we've used them for years. They're usually the cheapest, but I think it was like $42,000 to do all three. But so John McDonald thought we should go to bid just to make sure there's nobody else out there, and
Yeah,
make sure we're getting the right price, best bang for the buck.
and thank you for the explanations.
No
Yes.
So that's, unless you had anything else you wanted to share with us, it's
I
it's
have
public
one
comment.
other
Oh.
thing, but I appreciate the maintenance because in the past, there has been a degree of, we'll call it deferred maintenance, that has, it'll catch up to you and be quite expensive. So, I know the last board, of commissioners, really made maintenance of aspects to the system, important, and that it has to be, upkept, so that it doesn't hit the taxpayer or the ratepayers of the water district in the future.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That-
Does anybody have any other questions?
I'm good.
Yeah. Is there anybody in the audience who had a comment or question for the board or the commission? Hmm?
Public portion.
Yeah, the public portion
Oh,
of
right.
our meeting.
Right.
Kevin, is there anybody online that wanted to speak?
No one on Zoom.
Okay.
All right, thank you then.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in. We'll see you next time.
No problem.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.